Okay, guys, we'll start in like 60 seconds. We'll begin in a minute.
Why is that Ari not answering his phone?
He's by a wedding.
But he just was texting him.
Hey, what? Microphone.
I thought you can charge the USB, doesn't it? What is he expected to do if he wants?
What? You guys will start in about a minute. Right, you want to stream. You want to stream. Guys, if you have someone next to you that has unlimited data and you're able to stream, the fair stream, because that's what you'll be able to follow the PowerPoint presentation on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So with your phone, you'll be able to see what's on the computer.
Very cool.
Just click the link.
No, I can go right here still. Yeah, there is. Wow.
Just turn off your media volume so that we don't hear the feedback because it's on a 5-second delay.
We have to press it a little earlier.
Right.
Okay. Hi, Mandy.
Okay, we're about to begin. Guys, on your tables is papers and pens. Just in case you want to write something down. There's bottles of water here. Cups.
Wow, it's more than 5 seconds away.
Right, but all you need is the image. All you need is the image.
Is your Motzey entertainment?
Is there another they can call in with questions?
Yeah,
Okay, I think we're ready to begin. I don't have any. I don't see any comments on the live stream. But if someone that's not here has a question to bring up tonight, they could bring it up. There'll be times later on for question and answers. So if anyone sees anything in the comment section for someone that's watching from home, we'll bring it up later. So welcome everyone to the Congregation 94 shul meeting. Do you guys in the back have anything?
I don't have a link. I have a phone. Forward me a link.
Someone want to forward him a link? Someone has a number?
203-936-4537.
Fine.
Guys, can we get a link over here?
So
It's on WhatsApp.
WhatsApp's not working.
search Mandy Ments on YouTube. It's streaming from my YouTube channel.
Yeah. Andy.
Okay, moving on. So we don't. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people. Let's try to move.
Is this a scheme to get more followers? Or just wanna...
Welcome to the Congregation 94 shul meeting. Tonight we'll be discussing many different things, but the most important thing that will be going on tonight is bringing up the fact that this is a crossroad for the shul, and tonight we will, put everything on the table. We're going to be opening up the books of the shul. We're going to show the innards of the shul so that everyone can see what it takes day by day, month to month, financially to run the shul, because hopefully by the end of tonight, we'll be able to know if there'll be someone willing to take over Ari, which we'll speak about what his part of the shul was. So, moving on. Here we go. So, today, we will be going over the current progress of the shul. We're going to speak about why we're here. We're going to go through the finances. We're going to speak about possible solutions. And then, finally, some conclusions of what we think from us that brainstormed in the past of maybe a solution to this. But obviously, if someone comes up on their own tonight of a solution that they see clearly, we're going to, by all means, please bring it up, and then we'll go to a question and answer session. So, why are we here? The reason we're here is because Ari Katzman, who was the founder of the Congregation 94 Shul, would like to step down as the guarantor of the shul due to a few reasons. So we all remember over a year ago, Ari started the shul, but it's no longer shy for him, or it doesn't make sense for him to continue running the shul. Number one, obviously, the main reason, he's left town, and it is harder to keep things going over for a long distance. Just simply, the guy is living in Florida, and that's the plan long term. It's not like he's coming back after Shavuos, so we need to see, he needs someone to take him over. Next, we're going to speak about this later on in the financial part of the meeting, but lack of financial stability. Meaning, if it was guaranteed, dollar for dollar coming in, dollar coming out, that there's no question that the finances are in order, so then maybe Ari wouldn't mind, or anyone wouldn't mind just signing the lease, and yalla. But we're going to go into the details and show how much comes in and how much it costs to run the shul. And we'll go into that later, how it's not so scary, but we have to view the details. Is Ari online?
Yeah.
So now we're going to hear a few words from Ari himself. He's on the phone, calling him from Florida. Is it connected?
Yeah, Ari, unmute yourself.
Ari, you there?
Hey, you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, what's up? Yes, sorry I couldn't be there now, but yeah, as Mendy said, basically, Tishrei, I gave a deadline. Unfortunately, I'm no longer able to guarantee the lease and all the other finances, so right now we need somebody else who's on board, who's going to be there, that can take over the lease and can take over any other financial commitments we have in order for the show to continue running. What I want to say is that it's really never been a big deal for me to get this stuff together, so whoever will take this responsibility, I mean, as Mendy will show you, you know, the finances have been very good, pretty steady overall. It's just that you need somebody that's there, I feel, to be able to encourage people so that they keep up their commitment, to get new people to give new commitments, to get people to give big commitments in Tishrei. You need somebody who's hands-on, who's able to, you know, tell people, look, this is what we're doing, and I'm not in that position anymore, so I have to give it over to somebody else. But really, I mean, it's doable for anybody, and, you know, possibly a committee, possibly a board that just agrees to, you know, each person to take a different aspect of it. So, yeah, that's the thing. Now you can listen to what Mendy says.
Right.
To what our next step forward will be.
Right. Thank you very much, Ari. Ari. Okay. That's good. Thank you very much. So, as you heard from Ari, he can no longer continue, but like he mentioned, it's mamish. He doesn't think it's a big deal. So, and we're going to discover that right now. So let's go into the current state of the shul. For those that just joined, if you want to follow the PowerPoint presentation, you could, there's a link on the WhatsApp group and it'll stream to your phone. So the current state of the shul, reality. Since we opened the shul over a year ago, there are more members than ever on reoccurring payments. So the reality is that today there are more members than ever before. How many members? There are exactly, as of tonight, 47 paying members in shul. Now that is a very, very solid number. We're going to get into the details of how much are 50 and all the finances. Today in shul, there are more volunteers than ever before. More people are giving of their time. We have people opening the doors. We have people coming earlier in the morning for chassidus. People coming up to myself and saying, Mendy, what could I sponsor in the shul? How could I get involved? We have the growth committee, which are very, very active, and they talk and they speak whenever something new could happen. So there's more volunteers than ever before in the shul. Minyan attendance. Since the shul opened up in the basement of Shmuley Horowitz, I don't know if anyone realizes, you can't even walk on an average Shabbos by the Kiddush. There's literally 60 plus people here on any given Shabbos. The place is packed. So minyan attendance is higher than ever before. Like I said before, there's many diverse people. This is something that developed over time. In the beginning, there were a core group of people that said to Ari, we're going to give the money, we're going to give the time, let's make this happen. Today, there's a very diverse groups of people that are giving support for the shul. So it's not one guy, it's not one group, it's not one group of friends. It's literally from everywhere, people are trying to give to the shul. Next, is something which is very important to speak about. It's called the 10% growth over time. How much is the shul growing? So I was speaking to Ari, and we believe that the shul is growing every single year by 10%. So the first year is stability. Now we already have growth committees. We already have chassidus in the morning. We have the kiddush is down pat. Everyone, you already know what you're getting. Now we have, with Mendy, we have mashka every single week in shul. This week was the first time a mashpia came in. There's no one for him to sit down because there's too many people. But there's slow growth in the shul. Where will we be by next year if we continue 10% growth? When this becomes the standard, where will we be next year? Where will we be in 2 years from now? So the shul is definitely, the current state of the shul is definitely in a very solid place. And Mirza Hashem, it'll definitely continue. So now this is by far possibly the most important time of tonight is the finances. Let's dive straight in. So it seems like there's a delay on the projector on your phone because YouTube does 10-second delay, so I'll try to click the slides a bit early. So number one, we're going to speak, these are the expenses. We have rent. We have the electric bill. We have, is someone's thing on? Just turn it on?
Yeah. You just watch where you are, okay? Just go ahead. Just go
right. So we have rent, we have electric bills. Kiddushin. Kiddushin is an expense every single week. It's not sponsored. We have salaries. There's a manager of the shul. There's a kiddush manager. There's housekeeping, maintenance, plumbing, lighting, etc. How much are these expenses? Look at your phone. Rent, $2,300. Electric bill, average, it goes up and down, but it usually is around $180 a month. Kiddushin is $500 a week. $500 a week, right? $500 a week is $2,000 a month, just kiddushin. Salaries between the manager, which is myself, the kiddush manager, which is Mayor Ives, and the housekeeping is $1,500 a month in salaries. Maintenance of the shul is about $50 a month. So the total budget, how much money comes out of the shul weekly, monthly, is $6,030. It is a massive budget. The total yearly budget of the shul is $72,360. So we're basically speaking $75,000. Now let's go into our income. So this is our expenses. So we spend $6,000 a month. How much comes in? Income, monthly, our stable income, right? Remember we said we have 47 members to date. So some are on the 50 tier, some are on the $100 tier, but the average amount of membership, because some people moved over the time. Some people call me up and say, hey Mandy, I can't do membership. Some people decline requests. Some people, they just say, I can't do it this month. So it's a bit up and down, but our average from the spreadsheets is $2,150 for membership. Now it's a low number when you think about our monthly budget, but now just do the math. If you have 50 people giving, let's say $50, that's $2,500. But we don't have 50, and sometimes people just decline and doesn't give. So really, we make average $2,150 income from membership. We have another source of income. We rent out our space. Our renting space average is $500 a month. We make from income. We have deal with Boof and Ban. We rent from people. It happens like once a month on average, where we rent to other people as well. But sometimes it's more. One month we had it closer to 1,000, but it just happens to be that it's an average $500 a month. So our total stable income yearly, $31,800. Remember, our budget is $75,000. Guaranteed, meaning I would personally sign on a budget if it was $31,000, because I know the numbers. This is consistent income. We have average $500 rent. We have average $2,150 for a membership. So $31,000 is in the green. Like that we could expect every single year. Now let's go into the unstable income, because $31,000 is not $75,000. So where's the $75,000 coming from, right? The doors have been open, the lights are on, and everyone's smiling. So like, how is the shul open if we're just cracking 50% on stable income? So here's the answer. Kiddush sponsors. We, on average, thanks to Ufrufs, we have on average, like twice a month, a Kiddush is sponsored. So how much does it cost to sponsor an ufruf? It's $500 to sponsor an ufruf because that's how much a kiddush costs. So if we on average have 2 kiddushim a month sponsored, our numbers are $1,000 a month. So we bring in average $12,000 a month, a year, on kiddushin sponsorships, right? Because it's $500 twice a month on average. We usually have 2 kiddush sponsorships a month, which is $500 each. So it comes to $1,000 a month. 12 months in a year is $12,000. You saying where are we holding now?
Yeah, 60.
Now we're at 43.
No, but a total budget, like 60 grand.
Oh, right. So there's 2 ways to calculate it, by cutting down
Right,
or just
okay.
adding up. So we're going to do it the other way.
Okay.
We're going to keep that 75 and see if we could reach that. Right. So then another unstable income is Tishrei sponsors. Why is it unstable? Because we don't know what's going to happen this Tishrei. But this past Tishrei, pledges was $25,000. So boom, we're getting close to 75,000. Hold on. There's a lot of people here and there's gonna be many more questions. Please write your question down. And I'm serious, in order for this to go smoothly, like there's a Senate hearing, just hold your questions to the end. We're gonna knock them out and we're gonna explain any questions on anything that happens in the show. I'll go through all the details. So just remember it. Next, we're almost at 75,000. We're about $4,000 short after Tishrei donations. So category 3 is generous sponsors. People randomly reach out to me. They're like, "Hey, Mendy, I just made a deal in the shul in my life. This is for the shul. $200, $500. Money comes randomly, but it's not part of Tishrei, not part of Kiddush sponsorships. So throughout the year, we had generous donations, meaning not planned, unstable, so we can't rely on it. $3,800. So total income yearly from the unstable budget is $40,800. So 31,000 stable, 40,000 unstable. Our monthly stable income, this is just a summary on your screens.
You're behind.
Right, so I'm behind, so I'm clicking it faster. Stable income is 31,000, unstable income 40,000. Our total yearly budget is $72,360. Get ready for this. We're projected to bring in this year $72,600. So we're pushing coming in the green, $240 at the end of the year. Like, we don't even know what to do with this amount of money. So much green. Okay, so yeah, that's a projected, but obviously we'll see what happens. Okay, moving on. If you're just tuning in, just lower your phones. Okay, let's dive deeper into the unstable income. Why is it considered unstable income? The reason is because Kiddush sponsors this year, which have been very frequent, Baruch Hashem, and helped the shul a lot, were mainly from ufrufs. Ufrufs are slowly ending. Ufrufs are slowly ending, and there's less consistency. So we can't rely what's going to be next year when we don't have ufrufs. Okay, guys, let's do it. Next is Tishrei sponsors. We don't know what the number is going to be. Personally, I believe it's going to be more this year, just because we'll go through it after. But we don't know what's going to be. It could be after Tishrei, it's 18,000. No one knows. It's an unstable number. Generous donations, obviously, you simply can't rely on just people sending money to the shul. We've also noticed that since people got married, which is understandable, people have strict income, strict savings. They're meiser. So as more and more people got married, the people just sending money to the shul has also went down. So it's in the unstable section. So now conclusion. Shul, as of this point, the shul, Baruch Hashem, is growing at about 10% a year. There's a lot of involvement for those who are following from the beginning. Thank God there's a lot of positive things happening within the shul. But we have a budget deficit. Deficit is an interesting word because we don't actually have a budget deficit, but we have unguaranteed budgets. We don't know, no one could say that it's going to happen. We don't know. There's a lot of gray. Next, Ari doesn't see himself taking responsibility with the foreseeable uncertainties, which is understandable. He doesn't even live here anymore. he's not planning on coming back. Next is we need a solution to prevent the shul from closing. Available solutions. Available solutions. So the first, after we're gonna have a question and answer session, obviously if there's someone here in this room that has an idea, or someone that's listening through the stream at home, if you have an idea that, we have a new solution, this is just solutions that me and Ari came up with, by all means. If someone has something else, we could use it as well. Available solutions is someone is willing to replace Ari and take responsibility for the shul and make sure costs are covered. So what does that mean? That means what Ari essentially, his position was as president of the shul, is Ari guaranteed that money will be here. So that means Ari was like a chief fundraiser. When there's a deficit, Ari made a phone call and said, hey, maybe you could give us some money. Now, many of you are saying, what do you mean you got to call? A lot of people got calls from me, and I was calling saying, where's the money? So what happened is that we sort of split we split it, and we sort of split Tishrei donations. So through both of us are basically fundraising Tishrei donations, but in essence, the position that Ari was it's his name on the line, it's his credit score on the line, it's his financials on the line. So ultimately, even if I couldn't help him, if we drained the Tishrei or whatever it was, Ari understands as president of the shul and his name and finances on the line, he would have to call up someone, whatever it means. That's the essence of his job, is as president of the shul is the financial backing. Next, solution. So that's one. Someone just saying, I hear where the shul is going, the finances are on the table, everything is here open in the public. So option one is someone just says, I could do it, or I think I can make it happen, start speaking with Ari, and the transitions happen, and then when the lease comes in 8 weeks, re-signed, and everything sort of continues. Option one. Option two is we somehow guarantee financial stability for another year. If we can guarantee, meaning we have a lot of uncertain income, we have almost 40,000 of uncertain income, but if we could somehow guarantee the finances, I don't know what that actually means, but meaning I don't know what that would be nisbata in, but if we could somehow guarantee it, then Ari would be willing to continue the lease. But it has to be like not 100% guaranteed. That's just option two on the table. Third option, some of you have maybe heard of this option. There was a shul that we've been in contact with for the last few months, Mishka Menachem. They're the shul in the bottom of JCM. We've had extensive talks with them, and they would love, actually, if our shul joins with them. The benefit for that shul is they have older people. When I say older, I mean 45 and up, and they're little kids. The middle, the youth, all have class shuls, and they feel like there's something missing in their community because they don't have, the full range. And in most shuls, you grew up, when they grew up, everyone was in shul, and now it's just like old people and babies. So they would love to have the full circle, and they would love a shul like ours to come join them. I would like to say that during these talks, I mentioned to them that we don't want to come to a shul and feel like you guys are running the place and we're just little kids in the shul. I said if we're in the shul, we need to feel like we're all equals. So I said we could only start negotiations if you could guarantee that the 94 shul will have from the beginning a 50% representation on the board of the Mishka Menachem shul. So get back to me. They came back and they said you guys will have 50% representation if we move forward. So it is a conversation. Obviously, that would help with less responsibilities from our end. There's milas. There's very much chesreinus about the avra we have. It's just ours. So the question is, if there's enough people that want that much, then I'm sure that things will come together for it. But option number 4, which is very, very much a real option, it's coming up to us the least, is the shul closes before Tishrei. These are the options that we have. The shul closing is a very real option. It's a lot of money to sign a lease, and it's it's up to us if we decide this is what we want to choose one of these options. If someone has a better option, by all means, we'll bring it up to discussion, and we'll see what we could do. So now, there's basically from now on, there could be two ways that the rest of this night goes. Number one is that it just goes, information is given, and information is received, and we can make the most educated decision on our own about what we want and what we can do. And option number two is that there are a lot of people in this room, and it basically turns into a very loud session. So if possible, for the next few minutes until the basic questions are answered, we'll just go, and if someone has a question, I'll try my best from the knowledge I have to answer that question. And then after, I guess we'll just go to General Assembly, and people could just talk for the rest of the night. So does anyone have any questions?
Yeah. Why can't the stability just cover the lease and the rest we can worry about afterwards?
So why can't the stability cover the lease? Let me just go back.
Your lease is under 20. Your lease is 24,000. Is around 30,000.
The lease is right. Our total stability.
Stability can cover
Right.
the lease.
The stability could cover the lease, but the stability cannot cover the lease.
That's a side point though.
Right. But let me explain. You have a good question. The stability we don't have in the beginning of the year $31,800. So let's say we live life like normal. So our budget is at 6,000, and then mitamol there's a deficit. We don't have $31,000 to pull on. You understand? Once you're spending money, you're always spending more than your rent. The second we have one kiddush, and we swipe the shul's credit card for $500, then we go beyond the.
For sure.
Who's guaranteeing that all those monthly donations?
Well, the guys, let's try not to.
Focus on the lease, and that's a secondary thing.
But so my answer to you is that every month the monthly budget is 3 times the lease. So the second we cover 1 month, we're already eating through 3 months of our stable budget.
But it's separate accounts. You can keep them separate accounts. You can have one thing that is just rent and everything else. If you don't have
So maybe a solution would be is if somehow we put together a push in an account that from the beginning, meaning within the next 8 weeks, we have in one account the lease money. That's an idea. If we could pull together upfront the lease money for a full year, then it wouldn't be. Then that would be a guaranteed of the lease, and then I guess the amount of kiddushim or whatever else happens in the shul could be negotiated. But that isn't.
I'm very fond of that.
About the electric.
Right. So meaning, but even with electric, meaning if we looked at our core finances and if we could get all that money up front, then that would be a possible option. We'll leave it on the table. Is there any other questions?
No, very simple. The members that want to do it pay up full in front and here.
So that's you just created a new option, and we'll discuss after the questions. We'll come back to it and see if we can implement it.
Can you get more money for renting the space, or is that like being maxed out with it?
No, there's no limit to money that could come in from rent.
Is there someone that's like focusing on that now, or no?
There's no one that's focusing on it. I deal with the rentals. I will tell you that there has been many simchas that have not happened here. Even people in our shul that are members that want the shul to survive that chose not to make their bris or whatever in here because we're on a 3rd floor. And if you're doing an event for people, if someone's over the age of 45, it's like, oh, my bubby can't come. And we lost a lot of rent for that. So as much as our location is good, we don't necessarily have the most ideal place, but it could grow. Like there's no doubt it could grow, but how much could it grow? I wouldn't rely on it growing, 3 times.
Supposed to be, I mean, in theory, you're looking for another place, right?
Yeah. That could be an option.
Somewhere cheaper, more affordable. You're only paying for shops, opposed to paying for.
That could be an option, but just think of right.
Saying you're paying for a whole week. If you get, in theory, if you get a place just for Shabbos, you're paying.
Right.
You're paying a quarter of the price.
Right. So now that would mean a committee would have to form immediately, and in the next few weeks discover such a place. But that's an idea. Like you'll cut like $500 probably. You'll cut like $800, but it's a cut. Meaning, let's be realistic. It's not going to cost $500 for a month rent.
Right. You're cutting it in half.
We're paying $1,500 in management for a shul that's operated 4 days a week.
Right.
And we're only 4 days a month. 4 days. Oh, sorry, 4 days a month. These 4 days a month that we're only here 4 days a month. Sometimes we have a share or there's something going on during the week here.
Right.
But the events that one makes maybe once a week or twice a week.
So
if we could find a place that I know the shul under us has a place. It's not their place. They only have it on Shabbos.
Right.
But I think they pay $1,000 or $1,200 a month. And ours is $1,500.
And ours is $1,500.
So, well, paying $1,500 doesn't manage. For a shul. It's not their place. They only have it on Shabbos.
Oh, for rent.
For rent.
So, in regards to the maintenance costs,
95 is their own shul.
You're older than us. Sorry, you're older.
it's not just a the maintenance fees, the 4 days a month. So 500 goes to Mayor Ives, the Kiddush manager. Meaning between the Kiddush manager and Lucy is 500. I take $1,000 a month, and the reason I take $1,000 a month is because I deal with the shul. The shul only happens on Shabbos because I'm dealing with it almost every single day of the week. And that's just the reality. And if someone could do it, if someone wants to do it for free, this is what Ari's been saying the whole time, by all means. I'm saying it's like, someone wants to take my job and say, you know what, let's make a group of volunteers, take every single achrayus that Mendy does, then by all means. But, and that could be a solution to save $1,000 a month. So it's $1,000, I get paid $1,000 a month, and the other two people get paid between themselves. It ends up being $500 a month. But I will say that if anyone has any questions about what actually I do on a day-to-day basis or on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, now is also a great time to ask if anyone's interested, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I get paid $1,000 a month, and the other $500 goes to those other two employees.
Also,
What do you do on a month-to-month?
Okay, what I do on a month to month is every single week. So when it comes, first of all, there's things that there's dealing with rentals. I deal a lot with rentals. The AC's been breaking all the time. I come here all the time to fix things in the shul. If there's someone fixed the leak of the roof, it was raining. The guy left the window open. There was water coming down into shul. Someone had to come clean up all the floors, dry the wet carpet. People don't pay membership unless they're pushed. People's credit cards are always canceling. So I'm keeping up on top of membership, making sure that our stable income remains stable. There's volunteers to every single week. Who's opening up the doors? Who's closing the doors? Who's Mayor Ives doesn't come some weeks, finding replacements, dealing with creating a growth committee, working with people to have a person that just brings all the components of the shul together, dealing with paying the electric bill, with the credit card bills, and dealing with the banking, and managing a shul, managing any maisid. People want tax return receipts. People want someone to vent on. People want someone to be able to say that, you know, hayatachin. Whatever it is, that's what I get paid $1,000 a month for. There's more details, but yeah.
Why should memberships be canceled?
I'm sorry?
Why should memberships be canceled?
Many times people call because they get a new credit card or they're balancing credit cards. That would be nice if someone would call and let us know that they canceled their credit card. It usually doesn't happen, so we could lose. When you have 47 members, and only about half of them are on recurring payments. So you have to keep on. You have to be cash apping and harassing people that refuse to go on recurring payments, which is a very time-consuming job. And then keeping on top of the 20 some odd credit cards that are people just changing credit cards. So by all means, if you're willing to do the job, then you have the job today. Right. Okay, I'm not saying it's impossible, but if someone else wants to do it to save the shul some money, by all means. And I'm not here forever. I'm not planning on staying in Crown Heights either way forever, so someone's going to have to do it over time eventually. But yeah, it's not like I'm not getting paid $50,000 a year to do it either, because it's not a $50,000 a year job. It's $1,000 a month. Yeah.
Also, can I ask you a theory question?
Yeah.
What you do and what Ari does, in theory, one person take care.
100%.
Going forward in the future, right? Let's say you say you're planning on leaving and Ari's gone.
Right.
Is one person able, even let's say with a salary, to take care of all the responsibilities and?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, and my follow-up question is, you said the kid's budget is $500 a week, right?
Right.
What was that, $24,000 a year, pretty much? The budget.
Correct.
Let's just say it comes out of the shul's pocket, $12,000 a year. Let's say, you said half and it's going less, whatever. The point is, don't you think that's a little ridiculous that we're paying $25,000 a year for us to eat chips and you know?
So I'm very happy. I didn't think anyone was going to bring that up, and I agree. But we've been very careful about the kiddush because, you know, people are giving it's funny, today I was at a Shabbos meal, and someone said, oh, I heard you run the shul, so they asked about membership, and then they asked about what the finances, so I knew everything's going public anyways, Motzey Shabbos, so I'm saying, yeah, it costs like $25,000 a year for this, it's $500 a week, so he's like, why don't you just cut your kiddush? So I said, we're scared that if we cut the kiddush, people will say, hey, what's with where's the kiddush, where's the food, where's the chalans, and I'm pulling out membership. So he said, wait, he said people in your shul don't just give money to have a nice place to daven, and I'm like, what? Like, that would be amazing if people were able to have that conversation, but if the whole community is like, you know what, let's cut Kiddushin by $100, by all means. We never brought that up because we thought Kiddush was just too important to people.
It's like what the argument said earlier, right? Let's just, the main thing is the rent to keep the doors open, right? Whatever that budget is, that's where the money should go. All these extra things shouldn't be all created equal.
So we're just nervous, meaning Ari and myself, we've been thinking about this for a while because it's a massive budget. And Kiddushin was almost tied with rent, but we were just nervous if we would lessen the Kiddush, people would just pull out of membership altogether. You understand? Someone might say, I'm not giving membership, the Kiddush is not good enough.
So that's what, no, full membership up front. This year, I'll give you full right now.
Randy, Baruch Hashpi, exactly, you can speak for yourself.
I understand, it's not a lot of money.
For you, for people, by the way, I just want to...
For shuls, it's actually a lot of money.
Correct, for shuls it is a lot of money. For shuls. Most shuls just do Tishrei. They do Tishrei. They usually do $360 a seat.
More random payment. People get Aliyah, they spend money.
Right. No one gives money for Aliyahs here. No one gives money for Aliyahs here. Most people rely on other streams of income.
By the way, you could probably also, like what he was saying, you were saying about the kiddush, you could probably still have a nice kiddush, but do it cheaper.
Yeah,
I would assume all the hiring is like, a lot of these things
we could,
I know it's details, but
right. So there's no question. Kiddush when people say could rent go up, there's no question. Could Kiddush go down? There's no question. But just remember for a moment, if you ever made yourself a personal farbrengen in your house, how much the receipt was. Now think that we're feeding 60 plus people on an average week. How much should it cost to feed 60 plus people? A lot of money. Meaning we don't have a small Kiddush. Today, Karbach's father, he got up and he was harassing everyone. When he asked Yehuda, he's like, this operation is massive. There's tons of, he's a shliach. It's like there's tons of people in the shul. Like, think about it. It's not just like a personal birthday. Can we make it $300? That's how much a personal birthday for bringing a cost someone. We're feeding 60 plus people every week. It's a very big operation. I'm sorry? It's less than $10 a head.
You didn't make a sheet with the breakdown for the kiddush.
For the Kiddush?
Yeah, I just find it, even though it's so many people, I just find it hard to see where $500 is.
So I'll tell you, there's less than $500 because you're paying someone to serve you and to set up for you, and for someone to clean up. Correct, but the Kiddush cost. I mean, if there's no Kiddush, we wouldn't hire a cleanup lady, we wouldn't hire a Kiddush manager.
So some expenses are going to account for twice. Kiddush salaries and
Meaning Kiddush includes the manager to who's buying the food on Shabbos? Who makes the challah? Who?
I'm just saying breakdown for accounting for expenses twice.
I'm sorry?
The breakdown for accounting for expenses twice.
We can't start
Some of the expenses?
Yeah, some from the kiddush can go to the manager, go to the
No, based on what you're telling me, that some expenses are being accounted for under kiddush, under the $500.
Correct.
Alright, so the good news is that means we save, so the budget is $70,000.
Meaning you saved $1,000.
No, the takeaway is the budget is $70,000, not $60,000.
Any other questions?
Is there a way to maybe advertise the rental space?
So in regards to the rental space, good question. This has been brought up just because the revenue that we saw organically was not high, so we never really brought this up to the public. But in theory, the shul is ready to allow someone to manage all rentals and give him a 15% cut. That's the number that the shul is ready, as long as it's new contracts. So we have already existing contracts with Booth and Bun, so we're not going to be giving any money for Booth and anything that Booth and Bun just sends upstairs because that's not new. But if someone says, you know what, I'm going to help the shul by volunteering my time to find rentals and manage the rentals for the shul, then the shul understands it'll be profitable for us. So let's say they rent it out for $300, the guy could make 15% cut, $47-50 off of the rental. The shul keeps $250, and that could also be a new revenue. When we remaster the shul, if that's the direction we're going, then there could be a position for a rental manager, because there's no question that it would help the shul if someone was putting work into that.
What's our exposure for rentals? Do we have any
Is
exposure whatsoever?
zero. I once started working on a Facebook page, but it never
called.
It needs to be someone's passion.
We have, it's a pretty.
There's tens and thousands of people on the COL every day for short-term rentals.
Whoever, if someone wants to make that their.
I'm willing to work on rentals.
So I appreciate that, Mandy. That's amazing.
Sealed in stone, baby.
For
15%, 100%.
deal.
15%. Right. And I think that it can grow. I've rented out to meetings here. When the Kinnis HaShluchim, C-teens, when Yud Shvat, Gimel Tammuz, there was Bacham writing Panim in this room. This is a very good space for very random things that I've noticed. But I know that for older crowds, the challenge has always been the stairs. But there's definitely room to rent out. So Mendy, the shul definitely appreciates that, and that's an unstable budget. We'll have to keep that in mind, that we don't know how much that will grow monthly, but it'll definitely help somewhat.
By getting a location that's on the first floor and maybe isn't right at 770, we'll be able to grow the attendance in the shul. Like, for example, the class under us moved to Troy and Union.
Mm-hmm.
So the mile of Troy and Union is that, okay, fine, it's not right at 770, but it attracts Balabatim that aren't interested in walking to 770 or aren't central Crown Heights. So you get more, not only on the first floor, but they also are a little bit out. Obviously, we like the fact that it's running to 770, but at the same time, if you're a little bit further, you're attracting other types of people. Right now, we only attract people that are our age. We don't attract anyone older. We don't attract any other groups. But if you're if you're in a different area, again, there's obviously mileage to being in 770, but being on the third floor and being right at 770 at the same time, both of those limit our least, like what we're able to get out of our.
So it seems to me that the general consensus of the shul until this point was to be an exclusive 94 shul. So we've had many elder people walk in here, and we haven't done anything to retain them as members, because it seems like we weren't really chasing that path. And don't forget, we only have 47 paying members. I've counted on average weeks, we have 50, 60 people coming here consistently. We could even pick up membership within our own community. But I'm just saying, in general, having other people helps. They have deeper pockets, and maybe that's the Mishka Menachem solution, but it doesn't. I don't think that most people here wanted that to begin with.
Another thing that to just remember is that you mentioned that there's a 10% increase on a yearly basis.
Right.
You have to suspect that within the next couple of years there's going to be a significant decrease due to the fact that most of us are young, and again, there's a large portion of that number that aren't married.
Right.
So the rate of people leaving Crown Heights is pretty high after a year or two. So not having not having other types of, like, I don't know how the other grades have fared. I mean, I know a lot of grades have combined, but not taking in other people could hurt you in the long run, being that, like, you don't know that, like, just the people that are in the room right now, how many of us can guarantee that in 2 years from now we'll still be in Crown Heights?
Correct.
So
That's a discussion that should be had. But yeah, that's a good point. Who's going to be here? It seems to me that the general rate of people moving out of Crown Heights maybe is not as large as it used to be. Also, we have bigger grades than they used to be. Like, how many guys in our grade so far have gotten shlichus? This week we had one. We actually had two already. But how many people move for business? Someone just is moving for school. You're right. There's people moving. It doesn't seem like it's a wave. So by the time people's pockets get bigger, the 10%. You know what I'm saying?
You never know what can happen in the next year or two. I hate to be very random about it. Things can be going crazy, and people won't have what to pay for the shul now.
100%. That's the question. That's the question.
So I wanted to get into this, but it sounded more like a road committee type of question. But once everybody's throwing everything in, I'll go. All right. So the way I look at it, for how we mentioned, we have basically open 4 days a month.
Right.
And then the issue is, so there's that aspect. There's aspect of people throwing expenses. From what I understand, from this past history, we basically hit the lottery.
We hit the lottery.
We hit the lottery. People, I don't anticipate the next year we're going to hit the lottery.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
Right? I don't know.
So with the 4 times a month that we're open, I feel that unless we grow, like this year, having other things going on, we might just end up being some shit. And if that, basically, if we're not gonna grow now, then we might as well just join them.
So there's a group of people that have not just spoken about growth, but they want it enough that they're doing something about it.
All I see is the shul thing going an hour earlier. I mean, it could be.
So you could come behind the scenes. There's a lot of, meaning if you would like to have the shul grow, I encourage you to speak to people on the committee of growth. I'm not sure how much you've spoken to them.
I don't even know there.
So there's a committee of growth that spend their free time thinking about the growth of the shul, and it's definitely something that can be pursued.
No, again, I've given a substantial amount of money. I don't feel like I saw a return on my investment. I'm not saying that.
Okay, I can't. I understand. I hear you.
I feel it for 4 days a month. Each almost. More.
Fair enough. So that's a valid feeling. I'm sorry?
Who's their committee?
Who's the committee of growth? Lady Lavner, Shirley Lever, Zlato, Mendel Treidel, Mendel Jacobs, Mendel Weinstein, myself, and Ari Katzman just oversee it for budget reasons.
Yeah.
But it's open since the beginning if anyone else wants to join the community of growth, and they're you know what I'm saying, they're involved. Like small, don't forget, whenever you see something on the surface, it's like an iceberg. So I wouldn't put down the committee of growth. They do a lot of hard work. So even a small thing, like someone's waking up every Shabbos now 9 in the morning to open the doors for a few chavrosas, whenever you see a little of ice, there's usually a lot under. So, but I would suggest you join maybe the committee of growth and help them out.
I wouldn't suggest nothing's getting done. I'm just saying the only thing I saw was the doors being opened an hour.
Okay, I understand that.
If there's more, maybe go through it now.
Has there been a talk of a full-time rabbi, like someone maybe give a shared morning or more of a mainstay on Shabbos?
So there's been talks. I've had talks with Ari, but as Ari left and as all these, like right now everything's coming to the surface, but there's been a lot of things that occupied our time. And to hire a rabbi, we imagine we can't really get a rabbi if we're paying him for less than $500 to $1,000 a month. But there's no reason that we can't. It just has to be a few group of people that say, let's make this a priority.
Okay, one aspect, like a topic question,
Yeah.
we have people in the room and people, whoever's listening. You know, like, isn't the whole point, we can sit here and ask a billion questions, we can sit here till 12 o'clock at night.
Correct.
Yeah. I just want to ask if somebody's actually interested in running it, whether for free, whether for salaries encouraged, whatever incentives, etc., that could go along with it. But somebody that, you know, either take them now or in the future or in the future, or now that Ari's stepping out, so somebody to just fill that void in that position.
Right, so we're all here together. Very good, Tzviki. We're all here together. Just everyone, I personally didn't expect to, meaning, I think it maybe take a moment for people to process, but is there anyone in the room at the moment that feels confident?
You don't get like a lifetime commitment right now, just in theory or something.
Right, is there anyone in theory that is willing to look into the possibility of being the person to basically chair the shul, be the president, and be able to reach out to people if funds go down and replace Ari?
What do you think of Granite?
Not honestly, I'm not looking into shlichus. I'm doing Yer Kalos or until Hanukkah, but I still think, like, I don't think honestly I'm leaving Crown Heights for within the year. That's just how things work statistically. I'm not starting to look now, but I don't think that necessarily I should be the solution, because it like if we start now with long-term replacements, the growth could be much more foundational for the future. So, is there anyone in this room that? Fine. So.
Why is it necessarily all about like one guy? Could there in theory be a corporation of 4 people who are legally the board of the shul?
I imagine it's that's probably possible.
So meaning it's very scary to say I'm gonna put things in my name, but maybe you could look for a few people who get together. I mean the board, like it's an official board in the corporation. This is a legal tax corporation. There has to be board members.
Correct.
Is it really possible to put the responsibilities on 4 people to share?
From my understanding, 100%, and I could tell you that the head shliach of Atlanta, the way he does the finances in his Motzey is he has a financial committee, and they oversee the budget. So they basically together 4 businessmen say that we're gonna cut where we think we should cut, we're gonna grow where we think we should grow, but it's between us four to find the budget. And it's a financial committee.
Yeah, we're not big enough to have a financial committee, a board. Like, we need a board. Yeah, we can do.
Oh, so you could just call it a board. Whatever you want to call it. You want to call it a board, we'll call it a board. Right. I'm sorry?
You can make money in rap videos there.
In rap? That's an option. So I think if this is basically the information, if you want to re-look at the slides, I imagine that when the session's over, you could go back to YouTube and find and go through the numbers if you need the numbers again. I encourage that, yeah.
You think the structure and the management a little different?
Sure.
Like, what's it do like this? You have $500 you have to pay the shiksa, and you have to pay this kiddush guy because the guy who's in charge, let's say, he would rather, let's say he's getting paid $1,500, he doesn't want to take $1,500, he wants to pay someone else to do it. Okay. What's the structure is, the guy who's running the shul gets $300 to $400 a month, but he gets 50% of any income he brings into the shul.
What do you mean?
Any rental, because you have to. I'm telling you.
It has to be an incentive.
Huh?
Saying it has to be an incentive.
15% is stupid. I'm saying 50%. You're renting it out $100, $150 a night. I'm saying, what are you talking
right.
So if you rent it out, let's say on a good week, if you rent it out $100 a night, I don't know how many times do you think $100 is something that people are going to jump on?
We haven't rented to anyone for less than $200.
So why is it rent for $100? Rent it for $100.
Okay, rent it for $100.
Rent it for $100. You give them an incentive. Give them 50%. If they bring in $1,500.
50%. So 50%. No, I agree with you. Now.
Forget about finding somebody, but now.
So you're asking if I want to do it?
Maybe this. Not.
We have someone.
We already have someone, Mendy Minsky.
Different questions. You give someone $300 a month to get the base, run the entire show.
I'll tell you why.
It's 50% of any income you bring in.
So if someone wants to do that, they could do that.
Plus, I'll tell you what I'm getting at. Plus, the kiddush has to be cut in half. No soda. Just do seltzer. It has to get cut in half. By doing that, you'll be bringing down the budget by
we don't mind cutting. I could cut the budget next week. There's no herring. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm not saying don't put any food, but there's
But we were scared of backlash. We were scared of Avi. If people understand that we just don't have $2,000 a month to blow on a kiddush, then
all you need is salt and crackers. I know it's little dollars here and cents here,
right?
And it's very easy to be high rolling and just get tons of dips, tons of
correct
salads and stuff. But a lot of shuls, the guy that's getting paid $500 to put it out is also cutting up a couple of fresh salads. He's also cutting up a couple of different things, and you're making it, and you're reducing your costs, and still giving and servicing so much good food to so many people.
So we could do that. I just want to let you know I had a conversation today with Mayor, our Kiddush manager, and he said that he's a bucker. He's leaving for the summer, and he's like, okay, what's time to find? What? I'm like, we're gonna work on a replacement. Personally, I think I spoke to some other people, like, how does your shul kiddush run? Who's doing it? And they said it's volunteers. Yeah. Volunteers do it because it's been very difficult to find guys like Mendy. These guys are very capable bakrim that are very committed. They don't get paid a lot. They get paid. Mayor gets paid $50 a Shabbos to deal with us, a bunch of drunk people pushing him around. He goes shopping on Thursday night to pick up the food. He comes here Friday to put tablecloths and make sure everything's clear. He makes the challenge. You know what I'm saying?
And all this he does
for $50.
Where's your 500?
And then the cleanup. No, this cleanup lady Motzey Shabbos, then the food.
What's the lady?
The cleaning lady gets paid. The cleaning lady gets paid $15 an hour, depending if there's an ufruf or not. Depending on how much of a mess it is, she gets paid a little bit less or a little bit more.
Yeah, but that means you're talking $75.
I mean, she isn't the
best. No, yeah, right. 50. Let's say she makes 50. So then you have 100 on kiddush and clean, and now 400 for the kiddush. 400 food, 100. When I say 500 for kiddush, it means like the full package: the cleanup, the setup,
and the food.
and the food. So,
Oh, and the
meaning when we say $500,
You said the management for the month. It's
Correct.
$1,000 to the guy who's running it, then $500
right?
to the cleaning lady and Kiddush guy.
So what's the problem? It's 400.
It's double for it's 400 for the food and then 300 just on imagery. It's 500 for the kids.
It's 400 for food, 100 for these people.
No, what he's saying is part of the salaries is fine, it's double.
Why is it double?
We went through this.
500 for the kiddish and then 50.
Oh, you're saying I made a mistake in the.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Okay, say that. Fine. Fine. So wait, that makes it the budget's a little less.
Yeah, so now it's $700. Now I'm making mistake.
We're in the green. We're in the...
You gotta invest it.
Right. No, we're not. But if it's a big kiddush, she's here for more hours. Average kiddush, let's say she's here, she gets $50. When it's a big kiddush, yeah. Dude, there's chalents, there's food on the floor, there's a bunch of men that are 23-year-olds ransacking the place for 5 hours. And she's here. What? Like, if you find a better cleaning lady, we'll switch her. I'm not.
She does a good job. It's $50.
Yeah, like, I'm saying.
Look at this place right now.
It was crazy 5 hours ago. The place is clean. I'm saying that's what she does for $50. So that's a story. I would just say if there are people serious about discussions, we should probably create a nucleus or a few less people. Some people might just want to see what happens, but if there are a few people that are interested in saying, let's meet again, let's discuss Mishka Menachem, let's discuss cutting, let's discuss replacements, let's discuss the board, whatever it is.
We vote on Mishka Menachem?
I think when we decide our best option, we'll make a general thing. But we should probably create either a mini WhatsApp group, or just a group of people to be able to knock this out, because we're probably not having this general session again before the decision. Does that make sense? So, if there are people,
Do you feel like we're any closer to making any decision?
100%. I feel that no one knew the real numbers. No one knew what it meant to actually be Ari in regards to, like, right now the shul is in total transparency.
100%.
Correct.
Are we any closer to taking a step forward and keeping it open, let's say?
I don't know.
Oh,
Oh, you're ready. So let's sit here. I'm ready to sit here.
I don't think the solution is to have 47 follow-up meetings and 27
Speaky,
WhatsApp chats.
so let's stay here. Let's make it happen.
Lock everybody in here until we have an answer. That's it.
Okay. So I'll bring out the soda. I'll bring out some cups. I'm here for the rest of the night. Just seltzer, because soda's not in the budget. Although we're $700 plus.
Out of our 47 members, how many?
Pizza!
I'm sorry?
How many are
I think I don't know exactly. I think like 10.
Only 10?
I don't know exactly. I'm saying that's a spreadsheet. I don't want to bring the spreadsheet public because it's people's private. There's a lot of private money. It's not. I could maybe tonight count it for you.
If you want to see the books, you run it. That's the way it works. If you want to look at the books, you're in charge. I know you're signing your commitment.
Can't be unseen.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's fair.
It's a lot of private information, like people's.
Can't be unseen.
Can't be unseen.
So yeah, it seems like the whole running machine needs to be done by more than one person.
It is currently done by more than one person. Oh, you're saying not Ari?
Overall. No, I'm saying like the overall running, the budgeting, the collection, the whole thing. It should be split up.
It couldn't. You could even, in theory, even my job could be negated with like a few volunteers, 5 volunteers.
First of all, thank you for putting together this incredible job.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
No, I really appreciate it. I thought this meeting would be more organized than it is. On top of that, I'm very happy to volunteer in the way I can take on the responsibilities. Maybe we can make a list of volunteers, break up responsibilities from there.
Well, we could do that, but anyways, we need someone on top.
I know that, but I'm just saying I think a lot of people
We could.
Right here, once part of the responsibilities are spread out between the volunteers, and that's going
It's not like right now. What's daunting? What's daunting right now?
Financial signing your name.
Right, but meaning the show's running.
Once you have volunteers,
Then you feel more people are invested. So we could do that. I trust you. There's been many months where my that like really the committee of growth was like some people that care, people that actually care. Right. No, I think it's just this 21. Yeah. Yes. Who's on? Yes.
How much money comes in for memberships every single month?
Every month, 20 on average, $2,150.
So somebody's getting paid $1,000 to get $2,100.
Not exactly. It's not just collecting membership, but it's also like even bringing this meeting together. There's like there's about Kaira, there's right.
I'm saying is, the shul's only getting 2,100 for 47 members, and there's more people here.
Right.
That means there's no accountability. There isn't somebody really being accountable that everybody's paying, everybody's chipping in, and the costs are being covered.
Well, do you know how much membership?
Otherwise, we have to figure out another way.
Do you know how much membership we were making before I came on board?
I'm sure that it's definitely grown.
So that's how many people. Meaning,
for me, you never.
Are you on? How many people? How many people went on? You understand? There's people that left. There's people that were paying $100 a month to the show that left.
Yeah.
And then it took 2 people paying $50 a month to just to return each one of those that left.
How much
it's a listen. You could do it today. When Ari called me to do the job, when Ari called me, I told him no, and I said I would only do it for more. I told him more than double the amount I'm making. I said I would only do it for I didn't see the books yet. I'm like, honestly, I don't have patience for this. He told me everything. I'm like, I see where this could get. I see you're telling me the things. I see how I'll be backed up with headaches when I'm dealing with all these fakakta details. I said I want to do it even for more than $2,000. But if someone wants to do it for less, by all means. If someone wants to do it for 500, if someone wants to do it for free, then do it today.
My point is, when you say our monthly expenses are $5,000,
6,000.
So we have 6,000 expenses and 2,000 in income coming. We have to bridge that gap. So financial committee.
Correct, but also sadly we did bridge the gap. We're not in a deficit. We're not in a deficit. The vert is not the shul can't sustain itself. Hold on. Can I just make something clear? We've been talking about money. The shul could befair sustain itself. Let's make this clear. We've got to this point without missing a payment on any bill. There's money in the bank today. We're not having this meeting, and I never made a plea for membership. I'm not here talking about, we don't have any money. We're just saying something simple. We've survived, and if Ari lived here in Crown Heights, in theory, we would go another year. The question is, who's going to sign the lease? And we brought up why he's not signing the lease, because it's not guaranteed, and it's not worth it for him. But I'm not saying that, we don't have money, I'm saying it may be more of an incentive if someone thought that the budget was cut in half, but someone's going to still have to, you understand what I'm saying? This conversation is not like we don't have money. Correct. So I know everyone's saying how can we cut the budget, but that's not the ikr here. The ikr is who's going to take responsibility.
So that's why they do more.
Do you understand what I'm saying? We've brought in the $6,000 every single month, and we're going to continue to bring it in. What? So
delineate roles of different people. You split up your duties and you'll assign each person. Would you take a pay cut?
I'm sorry?
Would you take a pay cut?
For what?
You had a board under you, each one doing different aspects of the job.
Right.
I don't see you take a pay cut.
No.
Even
If I wasn't doing the actual work, why would I take a pay cut? Oh, so maybe something small. Oh, yes. Right, but I think
but there's not the one person who takes responsibility. That's what he's not saying. No,
I'm not saying that.
For signing.
No. I'm not doing that.
No. They have a board. They can all sign. Shared responsibility.
So then why am I? What's my involvement in the board?
Oversee it. I want somebody to.
Just like Stam?
The chair.
Like I could do that.
You don't need to sign.
Oh, I don't mind doing that. I could do that. I could do that. I could do that today.
Try to figure out volunteers.
Okay, so let's turn the chairs around. Turn the chair around and let's talk to the. Mendel, I heard the comment about the board. About the board.
There's one board member there. There's one board
It's
member.
not true. There are 4, and there's a president on top.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question. I think
That's a problem.
We need a board. We need a
100%.
board. It's not one person signs it. It's 4 people that sign the lease. It's the corporation. If you can't trust that these 4 guys are one guy will sign the lease, then you keep doing.
And with these numbers, it's very shaykh that if 4 guys had their name on it, they would make sure to fill the blanks. Like we're not talking about like what's gonna happen. I know we're getting sidetracked there with the details. So let's talk. Turn around the chair and let's talk. Officially, our board today is Mendel Weinstein, Menachem Schmuckler, Laban Parsek, and myself. Ari was never. He was president. He was president.
So those 4 board members, it's these 4, right? It's not all 4.
I mean, there's never been an official vote. They're on the board. If you want tonight, we could, as we redefine the shul. I don't think they would.
I think we need to create a board.
Okay. Right. We definitely need more.
We go back creating a board. We can't just come in and show and say who wants to be on the board. Who's gonna come up their hand and say they want.
So in many shows it's a vote, but I think what we could do here is people that are willing to sign. If you're willing to sign, you pretty much buy yourself. But I would be careful to add at least one person that's not from the signing, because you don't want to make it totally run by money. You understand? I would make it even a 5-person board, because most that are run just off people have the strength to sign. Usually, you know what I'm saying? It becomes corrupt. You gotta have some people that are just regular people that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Saying there's not enough money laundering.
Right.
My question is, whoever does it needs to take more responsibility.
Correct. Year lease.
No, our generous landlord would allow month-to-month situation, 3 months notice.
Our generous landlord. There's no. The fact that they're charging Palo Jungelite regular newlyweds $1,700 for 1 bedroom means that there's not so many generous landlords in Korea.